This is the Izaak Walton League Pitch Pine Bog Forest Conservation Area / Nature Trail. And it really needs a better sign, like a sign right out on the road, because you wouldn't believe how many people actually go right by this and travel for miles going, oh, I think we missed it. Yeah, it needs a much better sign. I mean, it needs a better sign. Maybe bright orange or something, and put it right out on the road here that says, you know, nature trail. Because I just went by it for my 5th time in a year, and I went like 4 miles past it before turning around going, yeah, I think I missed it. I mean, it's easy to miss. By the way, parking lot and trails are closed to the public from sunset to sunrise. Why is that? That's because of the pitch pine bog monster that lives in here. Yes. Basically, it's Bigfoot, but we're going to call it the pitch pine bog monster. Let me rotate hands again. But this is on West Thomas Street. As I said, it's pretty easy to miss. I would say it's maybe 1.5 miles from the Rome Cemetery. That's the best way I can put it. Or about 1 mile from Gifford Road, traveling west. The pitch pine, I mean, why else wouldn't they allow camping in here? Now, I'm not too sure if there's hunting allowed, but I got my bright orange vest on, just in case. Look at this. Why would this branch be perfectly here? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. She's perfectly leaning. Oh, there's another one, perfectly leaning. I'm telling you, we're talking pine bog monster here. Nice of people to have leashes, you know. A lot of people, they just let their dogs stroll on the trail, and I'm not nervous about that. But when I see a 100-some-odd pound pit bull or Rottweiler not on a leash, yeah, that I get pretty nervous about. This is a Rome City Code ordinance, and like most city ordinances, they don't enforce them, especially if you're a minority. The stream is all dry. The last time I was in here, it was flowing pretty good. And they moved everything. This stuff used to be closer to the road, and they moved it all. I don't know why. Warning, with the leaves down on the ground, just be careful. It can be pretty slippery, especially when it's wet or after a freeze. Usually the next day, ice can remain under the leaves, and yeah, you can really hurt yourself falling on these roots. I heard a sound. It was definitely down there. Notice on these TV shows how these people, if they hear like a chipmunk or a squirrel, one thing that the pitch pine bog definitely needs is better trail markers. Get some money from Governor Hochul, get some money from the city, only be a few $100s, and buy some reflective trail markers and install them in here, because putting the red tape up on trees, it's a good way to mark locations, but it's also pretty lame. You need a good trail marker. And that's one reason why, if you're in here at nighttime, unless you have a super bright 5,000 lumen flashlight, you are not getting out of here until dawn. You are just going to be trapped in here. You are not going to notice the trail. One thing I did notice is all new trees along here. Very nice. What was that? I heard it again. I'm telling you, it's the pine bog monster. He's in here. I wish I had a tree like this in my backyard. Of course, the city of Rome would probably chop it down. They love cutting down big trees. But look at this. Why is this tree here? It should not be here. It's not part of this tree. Look how it just snapped. Something big snapped this tree and leaned it up against here. And the majority of these trees that are leaning up against other trees are facing northward. They're facing northward. That's always the key. Facing north. It's the pine bog monster. Just look at the size of that tree limb, though. Oh, incredible. What was that? I heard it again. Whatever's out there in the bog is tracking me. Tight fit. Tight fit. And I believe we're at our location here. Whoa. This is what I mean by bog. You step in this, you're going to sink so far down, you're probably going to need help getting out. So after a rainstorm, like we're going to get shortly, do not walk out in the bog after a rainstorm or after the snow melts. Down, horsey. I love this tree. Trail and outdoor education. Why did they put the sign way up there? I mean, is that for Bigfoot to read? Is that why it's so high up there? I mean, shouldn't the sign be like more eye level? Nobody's going to see it up there. And they say they're really smart. That is a big tree. And my camera is straight up. Look at the size of that tree. This is my favorite tree in the bog area. I mean, I really can't give you much scale to it, but you get the idea that it's pretty big. I mean, that's probably a good, let's see, 6 feet, 12 feet, 14. I'd say that's about 16 feet in diameter right there, that entire tree going around. That is a good sized tree. I don't see any nests up there, which is surprising. The bog monster does not like people. Oh, look at this. We got footprints. Look at this. Look at that footprint right there. That's about 11 inches. Small. Could be the bog monster. There's another one. I think we got evidence of the bog monster. And as you can see, you really do sink down. So after a hearty rainstorm or, you know, springtime snow melt, just imagine how saturated this is. Usually there's just, it's like a pond. But the moss, the peat moss, just, it absorbs water like a sponge. I mean, you could go a couple weeks without rain, come in here, and this will be still wet. As you can see, it would still be wet. So if you're dying of thirst during a drought, come to the bog. But you really got to be careful where you step. Shouldn't really step on this stuff anyways. I don't know why I'm doing it. So, you know, don't do it just because you see it on YouTube. I imagine those are the rain clouds coming in for the evening and for most of next week. And the kids are going to have to do without Halloween candy this year because A, by the time I get home, it'll be 8 p.m. 2, Halloween candy is ridiculously expensive, especially just before or during Halloween. And 3, I just don't feel like spending the money on bags of candy. And, you know, figuring I might get 2 kids at the door, I might get a couple dozen kids at the door. I'm not going to gamble like that. Basically, it's a way for corporations to make money off you. So no, kids are going to have to miss out. But look at the way this moss, I mean, it's like in lumps. Look at that. And this stuff, like I said, it absorbs water like crazy. So if you're thirsty, you just take all this, hold it over your mouth. The moss filters the water perfectly. I mean, there's no better filtration system in the world than moss. And, ooh, a spider. Probably a black widow. And the funny thing is that the entrance, the exit area that way is only about a mile. Yeah, it might seem longer, but it's only about a mile. And it's just a nice trail. Most people don't bother with this trail. They prefer the black-topped nature trails like the Mohawk River Trail or the Sculpture Trail on Griffiths Airport. But I like this trail simply because it doesn't get a lot of people. One of these nights I'll camp in here. If not this year, I'll do it in the early spring next year. But we're going to get about, I think, a total of 6 days of rainfall. Off and on, of course, but just going to make it kind of lousy. Oh my God, look at those trees over there. Something knocked them down. And of course you got the bog. My God, what could have done all that? Look how those trees were just uprooted. The pine bog monster. Kind of funny, I always bring my GoPro camera, but I always leave my phone at home. I don't want to be one of those zombie types that's always walking around looking down at their phone. God, I hate those people. I mean, what can be more important in life when you're crossing the street that you don't look both ways, but you keep your head buried in your phone as if the cars are just going to stop for you. Let me tell you, you do that to me, I'll just run you over. Actually, I have done that to people, so. Got some logging going on in here. Whoa, again, very mushy. I don't know why they're logging it like that, though. There's no way to pull these trees out. The trails are just too narrow for any type of vehicle. Pretty old trees, though. What was that? Look at this wide open spot right here. It's open, it's protected. You got good weather protection here. Oh my God, it could be a nest for a large animal and maybe a large creature. Oh. Incredible. What was that? I'm telling you, it's the pine bog monster of Rome, New York. It's almost like a hissing sound. Maybe he's trying to tell me that I'm invading his space, or her space, or their space. Oh my. What could it be? Oh my God, look at this. Looks like a footprint. It's pretty big. I've got a good size footprint, but this is bigger than mine. I would say this is about a size 16. Definitely, at least a size 16. Oh my God, this is an incredible find of the bog monster. The pine bog monster. I mean, look how wide the foot is here. Definitely good for crossing the bog or any swamp because a wide foot is going to give you balance. It's also going to keep you afloat. Look at the size of that big toe. And you got like 3, which looks like 3, possibly 4th. But you got 3 small toes. But look at the size of that big toe. I mean, that's bigger than my index and middle finger. That is one big toe. But look at that foot. Oh, we're definitely talking pine bog monster here. Yes, what a find. It was definitely walking down that way. I would definitely say this was not here when we came in.